Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here this afternoon with Miss Dee Hoch. She has some wonderful stuff to tell us, and she even has a free gift for us at the end, for you at the end. So yes, it's going to be a great show today. I'm Carol Henderson with Life by Design. I help people to spiral up and make their life better every every year because you never know when the second half of life is going to start. And I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison, and she's going to tell you all about herself and what she does.
Hi, yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. And you know what? The best version of us comes in all sorts of different shapes, sizes, flavors, kind of thing. But you know what? It's the best version of you. And that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. I love Dee's background. What lights your fire? And that's one of the things that I try to work with people, that I do work with people. But I call it what makes your soul sing. Because you know what, if you are trying to compare yourself, and this is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. If you're trying to compare yourself to somebody else, or I should be doing it the way Carol does it, or I should be doing it the way Barbara does it, or I should be doing it the way Dee does it, you're not being your authentic self.
And you won't
So,
be happy.
and you won't be happy. So what we are all about is being, like for me, for the best version of you.
Well, and I want to say
So
something. Those of y'all that have seen our shows for a while, that have followed us, know that Barbara grew up a square peg in a round hole. And her family kept trying to force her into that hole, and it just didn't quite fit. And so it wasn't until the last few years, truthfully, that she's come out of her shell. So that's one of the reasons that we do these shows, is because we want everybody to feel right in their own skin. That
right.
we all have different bents and leanings, is what they call it in Proverbs. And we have our own giftings. And if we don't follow our giftings, number one, your fire won't be lit and you won't be very happy. So,
Right.
and you won't be spiraling up. So this is going to cover all three of our.
Oh, exactly. So Dee, welcome to the show. So tell us a little bit about you, what your backstory is.
Oh, you.
I accidentally hit my microphone button. Oops. You know, the joys of live, being live. Hey, you know what? On any given day. Oh, Dee, tell us about you, what you do, what your backstory is, how you came to be doing, and how you became. And you know, this show is the aging experts.
Mm-hmm.
How do we age with expertise? How do we, you know, we can do it. Age is a number on a calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, let me just say, Carol and Barbara, thank you so much for having me on today. I always enjoy our conversations. You guys are a hoot, and I just love, being with you guys. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So my name is Dee. I guess I'm an aging expert at this point, just from my life experience and just the period that I am in my life currently. So I grew up in central New York, and I'm a daughter of Italian immigrants, and they moved to this country for a better life, right? So the area that they were in was poverty stricken. During that time frame, that's when they tell you, go to America, live the American dream. So my parents came here and they ended up really in that survival mode where they, took out on jobs. They, started their own business. They worked. They were very, very hard workers. My mom still owns a business to this day. So they were very hard workers. So that instilled that work ethic inside me, where I was like, I have to, anything that I want in life, I have to work for. I have to, I have to show up every day intentionally, and I have to do the work. the problem for me was you had said that Barbara was a square, a square peg in a round hole. And
Oh.
I feel that, because I've always been one, especially because I have ADHD as well. I've always been one where I'm always in that creativity and innovation
Right.
mode. And I'm not generally happy with conforming. So and those are conflicting. Yeah. Carol's like, oh, I know. And those are
Exactly.
conflicting. It's conflicting because you do what you need to do to survive, and you work the jobs. It doesn't matter if you're not liked at work. It doesn't matter if people, don't want to conversate with you. None of that mattered. Well, it matters to me. And I
Right.
found myself really wanting those meaningful relationships. And throughout my 25-year career, I hadn't found them, because again, I was in the wrong place. I was in an
Right.
organization that wasn't made for me, and because I'm neurodivergent, so I need neural inclusion, and organizations are not necessarily set up for neural inclusion.
Right.
So I worked to the point where I burnt myself out very badly. Because I was trying to be, the super mom, the
Mhm.
super worker, the super student, the super, friend. I'm trying to drink enough water, eat enough food, trying to juggle all of the societal expectations.
Right.
And last year, I mean, the only way that I can describe it is I broke. I couldn't do it anymore, because I wasn't living authentically. I wasn't
Right.
being myself. I wasn't in an environment that I could thrive in.
Right.
I was always in those non-conforming, those conforming situations, like you conform or you're on the outside.
Right.
So I always ended up on the outside because, I'm a nonconformist. So I ended up really just being probably at my lowest point this time
Mm.
last year.
Right.
So I quit my job and I started my business. And my father recently passed in April. So all of this is going on. And of course, when somebody dies, that's when you're contemplating, wow, like when I die, am I going to be happy with where my life is? Like if I were to
Right.
get hit by a bus today and, not live, will I be happy when I die? Will I be
Mhm.
fulfilled when I die?
Right.
And I think that really put things into perspective for me, where I want to show up every day authentically as myself. And I want to do things that bring me joy.
Right.
And I'm also, I recognize my energy, and I recognize, that some people in my life take more energy from me. So
Right.
that's okay if there's a trade-off, if this person who takes more energy is also giving me energy back, then
Right.
that's okay. Energy exchange, that's perfect. But if that person is taking all of my energy and never refilling my cup, that's when we run into issues. So I found that boundaries boundaries work wonders. Not everybody likes them, but as in order to be that person that I want to be today, and the person I am today, I have to set boundaries. So part of my boundaries is having conversations like this. Like, I'm comfortable with having these conversations.
Right.
I love having these conversations. And I'm not going to waste my energy on conversations that aren't going to fill my cup, because this fills
Right.
my cup.
Right.
Conversations like
And I think too, so often, and it's the societal norms
yeah,
that well, you have to be with your family all the time. And I don't mean husband and children. I'm talking about all these people with these extended families that have all these expectations, and everybody has a birthday every week,
yeah,
and they are expected to be at every birthday party and with
yep,
gifts and with, just things like that
yeah,
that do, excuse me, drag you down, and it
yeah,
takes from you. And yes, you love them, and yes, you have fun seeing them, but I think kudos to these families that are so big. They do monthly birthdays. Once a month, you go to the birthday for everybody. And
That's got a birthday that month, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is my birthday month. And so that's, and because it is trying. It is a very daunting thing to try to fulfill everything. And we have friends that used to go travel in ministry. And Keith and I were very young. We were having our babies, and we would go and move in with their kids and keep them while they were on their task. And one day they said, this is what we realized we were doing. And so they cut it to like a once a month that they would go spend a weekend and do this. But they said we were stepping over our own children at the door to get out to minister to the world.
Right.
And that because that was what was expected of them.
And I think one of the things for me was that for so many years, and you don't realize it until you're in hindsight. For so many years, I felt like I realize now that I was living my life by somebody else's rules.
There it is.
And it was like, oh, when I finally woke up to, hey, you know what? No, that's not the way. That's not you. Yeah. Now I do the things that make exactly what you just said. I do the things now that make my heart sing. I love doing podcasts. I love doing this. And there are certain things that, you know what? I'm never going to do that again because I don't have to. I'm going to, if it's something that does need to be done, I will find somebody else to do it for me who loves to do it.
Right.
That's the thing.
Is the post things that sometimes you have your VA do.
Yeah.
And the things in your life that are time consuming, that don't have to have your personal touch. Now, don't lose the personal touch and everything. But if you're spending all your time doing, if you're spending all your time doing the dishes and somebody else can do your dishes, let them do it.
Right.
Yeah,
and it brings out some other parts of you. Like I like even Carol has noticed that I have become more creative because I'm allowing my more creative side to come out.
Right.
I've never ever thought of myself as being creative.
Well, and you should see how she's grown. Look at our cards that are for this show. Look at a year ago or a year and a half ago. I mean, they just look at her grin. I mean, we were looking through some of our old stuff the other day, and it was
brother,
ugly. I mean, ugly. And so then we started changing and tweaking, and she does all the cards for our shows. And I personally think they are spot on, sharp looking.
I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's also knowing yourself and knowing what does light you up and what doesn't. And taking those expectations and setting those boundaries and saying, and recognizing that no is a complete sentence.
That's one of Barbara's favorite sayings.
Yeah, that's huge for me. Is I always thought that I had to justify myself, like no, because X, Y, Z. And I found myself getting frustrated that I continuously had to justify myself, especially because I was justifying myself to people that really, they didn't need justification, right? They felt, they were owed justification, but they really weren't owed justification. So I think that knowing that if I say no, please respect my boundaries, that it's a no, and I don't owe you a justification. If I want to maintain the relationship, then yeah, maybe I'll give you a justification. But for people out there, you're not owed an explanation why someone else can't do something. You might feel that you're owed, but it's up to the person. It's that personal power of that person. If I don't want to give you a justification of why, I can't do X, Y, Z, then as a human, you should respect that and
Mhm.
know that there's no ill word towards it.
Well, and it's
Which
sometimes,
is not
so
always the
often the
case.
people that really don't deserve a justification that are the most adamant of having
Yeah.
it.
Right.
And
Well,
yeah,
yeah, it's true.
and so it's like, no, it's just I can't do that today. And know your
Right.
limits, know your
Yeah.
energy limits, know
Yeah,
your
for sure.
bound your I mean, how many of us, especially as moms, you work and you're the mom and you're the caretaker and you're the housekeeper and you're the
You're the
chauffeur.
driver and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, so what can you not do that will not affect,
Right.
I'm going to say, the bottom line of your life. I'm not talking money, just the bottom
Right.
line of your life. If you're
Yeah.
so busy that you fall in bed at night and can't even kiss your husband goodnight,
Yeah.
and I mean kiss your husband goodnight. I'm not talking about having some raucous evening. If you're so tired that you can't afford a kiss, you're too
Yeah.
busy. And
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even with small children,
Yeah.
and take the time away. If there are grandparents available,
Mhm.
grandparents love to take care of kids.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, let them go
Yeah.
there for the weekend. They will survive. I mean,
Yeah.
you did. Your parents didn't kill you, obviously. So give them the grace to take care of your grandkids without
Right.
tons of oversight. Just trust that they'll take good care of them and have a weekend away. Have
Mhm.
have a day that you can just sleep. That
Right.
where you and your husband can go, even if it's a staycation at your house, but that doesn't
Yeah.
have all of the noise and the having to do this,
Right.
having to answer those questions of, did the sun come up today? Where does the sun come from? You know, what does blue mean? All those questions. Sometimes
Mhm.
just a vacation from things. And I know this is aging experts, so I'm kind of talking towards new parents, but grandparents, be there for the kids. It is
Right.
to take care of your
Mhm.
kids. And especially if you set those boundaries with your kids that said, okay, I'm the grandparent. I'm going to take good care of them, but I don't need to be micromanaged.
Right. Well, and
Mhm.
not everyone has like so I live in Virginia and we don't have family here. So our family, we made our family, right? Like we made our family through people that we met and everything else.
Right.
And I really do believe in that village mentality. I really do believe that you could raise your kids by yourself, but it's so much easier if you have a community, even if it's just a friend or two that you can call on.
Mhm.
Like my husband and I, when our kids were younger, we would always do Friday night date nights, and that was non-negotiable.
Yeah.
We would go
Right.
out, we would, leave the kids with, a friend, and then we'd trade. And I'd say, okay, now I keep your kids and you and your husband go out.
Right.
So really finding your network, finding your tribe, finding the people that are going to support you and where it's okay. Like I have a group of, well, it's my family here that I've made here in Virginia. I know that if I need a break, I can call any one of them and be like, hey,
Mhm.
let's go out for a cup of coffee, or can you watch
Yeah.
my kid, or can you
Right.
watch my dog? Or I know that I have that that I can have a network can depend on. Unfortunately, not everybody does have that network. And that's something where, as I was growing up and as my kids were growing up, I didn't think I needed a network. I was like, I'll just do it all on my own.
Yeah.
And now, I'm 42 and I realize, my kids are teenagers now, and I realized that I didn't have to do it all myself. So
Right.
I'm one where, we have a lot of little kids and stuff in this neighborhood. So I'm one where like, hey, you guys go on a date, give me your kids. I'll play with your kids for a few hours.
Right.
Will you go out and out on a date? Because I recognize how important that is,
Yes.
especially for a married couple to reconnect without the children.
Yes.
and
Right.
to
Because
just
if not,
be
when the
adults.
children leave, there'll
Yeah.
be no relationship there. And
Yep.
that's why when I say grandparents, the grandparents can be ones that you put in that network. And in a way, you're almost being the grandparent to those young parents.
Right.
Maybe the
Doesn't have to have a family tie. It can be a
Mm-mm.
friend. Like I remember when my kids were young, I had a gal down the street and I called her up one day. I mean, because you know what, once in a while, being a parent is tough.
Mm.
And one day I called her up and I
Once in
said,
a
"What are you
while.
doing?" She's yeah. But I said to her, I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, done." And I said, "Well, can you be here in 5 minutes?" She said, "Why?" I said, "Because in 6 minutes, these kids are going to be dead." And she went, "I'll be there right away." And she
Yeah.
came over and as she came in the door, I walked out the door, handed her a piece of paper and said, "Here's where I am. Call me when they're asleep."
Yeah.
I had just had it. I could not do one more thing.
Right.
and we
And
all
that, and
get
it's, that's where this support comes in. And it's the parents that don't admit they have those moments. They're the ones that run into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we all have those
In
moments.
anything. We all have those moments where we just have got to have a break.
Well, and this is not, we're talking family and parents. This is also
Right.
business. This is
Business,
life.
exactly.
This is friends. It's like, I can call Barbara and say, I'm struggling with this. I
With
just,
this, right?
help me here. And any number of other people. And we had our mastermind, that a group we meet with once a month this morning. And we can
Yeah.
just sit there and go, this is where I am. This is what I need. So find your niche. Get with Dee and help her. I mean, let her help you to light your fire. She will
Yeah.
help you delve into, what do you really want? Get with Barbara. She can work with you on your personalities, and
Yeah.
different personalities deal with things different ways. Or
They
it
do.
could be a nutritional thing, which is my area of expertise, I guess. If you're on a lot of medications, that can be a problem.
Right.
If you
Oh, yeah.
are not nutritionally fed, your body's not going to do what it needs to do. So
Yeah.
reach out to any of us. We would love to help you. So put something in the chat who you want to talk to, and we'll get back with you. And also, I'm going to ask Dee, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
How to get a hold of me? Is that what you said?
Yes, I'm sorry. Am I not loud enough?
No, it's the video just cut out. Technology.
We love it.
With
Yeah.
it. So you can get a hold of me a couple different places. So my email address is so it's Dee Hoch, Hoch at outlook.com. And I also so I'm in the middle of transitioning my business. So you can also go to the ignitepurpose.co. And that's our Canadian site. So we don't have the US site up yet. So you can go there and you can check out what we do and see, if anything tickles your fancy there, and you're welcome to message me on there. And also I am on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Alignable, and it's both Dee Hoch, so DeeHoch. So, and I welcome any discussions or anything like that. And I will offer you a 10% discount for any services if you let me know that you heard me with Carol and Barbara.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes. Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for that, Dee. Her stuff is priceless. So definitely go check it out. Check out what she does. And if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to click like and share, because that's how we get more people to see our platform. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to give us a thumbs up, because that changes the algorithms. Subscribe and ring the little bell, because that way when we have new content going up, you'll get a little notification that we're coming up. And tell your friends about us. So anyway, thank you so much for coming on today.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.